Thank you for watching this regional forecast for the Northeast. I'm Andrew Pritchard, meteorologist with Nutrien Ag Solutions. Well, we've got a series of storms moving through the central U.S. with a phasing that's going to occur across the eastern Corn Belt, delivering some snow to portions of the high plains, the Midwest, and the Northeast region. We've got our first round falling right now across the high plains. Second round is expected overnight into the day on Wednesday across portions of the central and eastern Corn Belt. And then we've got winter storm watches in effect across portions of New York, New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine. And that is for the impacts expected during the day on Wednesday into Wednesday night. Now, it's along this temperature gradient that we've got the storm beginning to ramp up. Temperatures transitioning from above freezing across the southeast to below freezing here on the backside across the upper Midwest and the high plains. And here we can see the systems here as we look at the satellite picture here as the sun rises on Tuesday morning. Very strong subtropical jet stream right now with thunderstorms across the Gulf Coast into portions of the southeastern United States. First storm system, the first wave is wrapping up here across portions of the Northeast region, but here you can see that compact swirl across the high plains. This is the second storm, the one that's going to sneak through, delivering some snow to portions of Iowa, Indiana, Ohio, and Michigan overnight tonight into the day on Wednesday, and then eventually portions of the Northeast region here during the day on Wednesday and Thursday. So you look at the 500 millibar flow and the water vapor picture, you got a couple things we can see. Again, here's the strong jet streak, the very strong subtropical jet. We've got the first jet streak making its way through the mid-Atlantic right now. We've also got the dry slot. Here are two waves I want to point out. The first one bringing some snow to portions of Missouri, Iowa, and Illinois this morning. And then the main upper level wave downstream or upstream across portions of Kansas and Nebraska right now. These two are going to sort of phase together and then dig together across the Ohio River Valley before lifting across the Northeast region. And that is our setup right now. So go ahead and take a look at the radar picture. We've got scattered precipitation falling across the Northeast region. Here's some snow mixing in across northern areas, but this is the main wave here. This is the main storm system that, again, is going to congeal across this region before lifting into the Northeast as we head into tomorrow and Thursday. Let's take a look at the high-resolution NAM model. This will help us kind of time things out. Again, the dry slot kind of pushes through a lull expected overnight tonight into the early morning hours tomorrow. This is what it'll look like right around lunchtime, with rain beginning to move into western portions of the Northeast region, but still plenty of dry air across the Northeast here as we get the day started tomorrow. So a quiet Wednesday morning, a quiet Wednesday afternoon for many. As we head into Wednesday evening, this is again right along the front where we could see a bit of a squall, where maybe we get some gusty winds and some heavy downpours across portions of southern New York. Getting into central and eastern portions of Pennsylvania, so maybe blustery conditions, some rain falling across this region. As this lifts off to the northeast, this is when we'll start to see cold air coming in from the north, changing things over to snow across northern New York, New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine as we head through Wednesday night into Thursday morning. So this is the period here. This is sunset on Wednesday evening. Let's take it through midnight on Wednesday night, Thursday morning, and now sunrise on Thursday morning. So by Thursday morning, along and south of this line here, it looks like snow and precipitation largely coming to an end. So waking up dry across portions of Pennsylvania, Jersey, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and south from there. And as we wake up on Thursday morning, likely some snow, perhaps blowing snow at times across northern portions of New York, New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine. So we take this loop to the very end as we watch the upper level low continue to kind of spin down and decay. Strong northwesterly flow coming in on the backside. This could keep snow flurries ongoing, especially where we get some lake influence across western and northern portions of New York. But flurries continue to be possible across even northern Pennsylvania and then further downstream across New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine as we head through the day Thursday into Thursday night. Now let's look at those winds. We're going to be dealing with some very strong winds as this storm system matures over the region and precipitation falls. So again, here's the front moving through. This is where we could see, a little bit of a squall, where again we get some strong gusty winds with the precipitation as it comes marching through from west to east across central Pennsylvania on Wednesday evening, and then eastern Pennsylvania as we get into the late evening and the early overnight hours, with those winds gusting at times from 40 to 50 miles per hour out of the east, feeding into this storm system. And then on the backside, as the upper level low begins to decay and occlude, we see the surface low begin to peak in intensity here overnight Wednesday into Thursday morning. with winds. There's a bit of a curly Q. Winds coming in on the backside here, gusting 40 to 50 miles per hour as well. So especially in some of these areas that we see some snow here early Thursday morning, potentially treacherous conditions here across northern New York, New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine, with those winds gusting 40 to 50 miles per hour and then heavy snow falling potentially at times. And that, of course, is why there is a winter storm watch in effect, and likely some areas will be upgraded to a winter storm warning during the later part of the day tonight into tomorrow. Let's take a look at the total snow forecast accumulation from the National Digital Forecast Database. And again, it's in this corridor from northwestern and western New York into portions of northern New York and then New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine, especially in the higher elevation areas where we could see 6 to 8 inches of snow, locally higher amounts of 10 to 12 inches possible. Again, more likely where we've got the lake influence here across western New York, across northern New York, and then in those higher elevation areas across portions of northern Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont. That's where the highest 10 to 12 inches are going to be possible. Further south across portions of central Pennsylvania, getting into more coastal areas of eastern areas of New York, and then getting over toward the coastal areas here, parts of Massachusetts, we could see some snow mixing in, and then maybe a trace to a light coating in some of these areas, but likely dealing more with the cold rain across those areas. Total liquid precipitation, again, dealing with more snow north of this line, but if we melt it all down, anywhere from 1 inch to 1.5 inches across this corridor of Pennsylvania and New York, and then getting over towards coastal areas of New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine, portions of Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Rhode Island as well, getting close to 1 inch of precipitation. As you head south from the Pennsylvania border and the New Jersey border, getting south across portions of Virginia and Maryland, that's where we'll be talking about 1/2 inch or less. Now, as we look a little bit further out, here are the two pieces right now, watching them phase from portions of Illinois and then back across portions of the Central Plains. We'll go ahead and play this out with the 12-kilometer NAM model. Again, watching these two sort of, this becomes the main piece, digging and then lifting across the northeast region as we get into Thursday and now Friday. On the backside here, still some upper level energy kind of wrapping in, and this is where we could pick up some of those flurries as we go through the day Friday into perhaps even into Saturday. So looking at the high resolution NAM model, the precipitation type forecast, again, just quickly watching this. Starting the day off mostly dry on Wednesday, watching that precipitation work its way in from west to east Wednesday afternoon and evening, peaking in intensity over the northeast region Wednesday night into Thursday morning before it begins to decay. During the rest of the day, Thursday night into Friday, that's when we could see some of that light snow falling across portions of the northeast region. Looking even further, we'll watch this first wave once again. This is the one we'll watch dig and then lift across this region over the next 72 hours. Here it goes. Maturing, lifting across the northeast region Thursday into Friday, decaying now, but kind of spinning down across the region, keeping that light snow in the forecast even through the weekend, with cooler temperatures coming in on the backside as well. So a very wintry weekend setting up for many of us across the northeast region. What I want to draw your attention to on the backside then is as we get into the end of the weekend, into early next week, we're going to watch another series of potential storm systems developing across the Central Plains, a series of troughs rotating through the midsection of the country. This is as the European model has it right now for Wednesday, March 4th. Watching potentially one storm system swing through the Midwest with another trough digging here across the Southwest, potentially bringing another one in. So what does that mean? Well, it means as we head into next week, heading into the first week of March, plan on it continuing to be active across at least the Ohio River Valley, portions of the southeast. And when I say active, I mean more rain, more precipitation. But the early look on this 7 days out, way out into the future, to be talking about impacts like this. This has a look, though, that could have us talking about some of the first severe weather, the first severe thunderstorms across portions of the central and eastern U.S., across portions of the Ohio River Valley, the Mid-South, the Southeast, and then perhaps southern portions of the Northeast region. We'll have to watch this closely as we head into the first few days of March. Taking one more look at this from the high resolution or the long-range NAM, I'm getting my models all mixed up. It has been a busy morning dissecting this storm system. The long-range European weather model, quickly watching the first storm system swing through the region. Again, the worst impacts Wednesday night into the day on Thursday across the Northeast region, with light snow, blustery, and cold conditions possible even into Saturday and Sunday. Quiet then as we end the weekend. Sunday likely quiet, likely going to be chilly. Monday quiet as well. It's as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday now, we're starting to watch things begin to ramp up across this region, with storm systems developing and then swinging off to the northeast, potentially bringing precipitation back into the northeast as we head into the middle part of next week. Temperatures are going to go for a bit of a ride across the central and eastern U.S. Of course, we're a bit on the warmer side as we get started, but cooler temperatures come in on the backside of our Wednesday, Thursday, Friday storm system. Remember, it's going to be a bit of a chilly weekend across the northeast region and perhaps even a chilly beginning to next week. But as we begin to develop another trough in the west with a ridge in the east, the jet stream doing something like that will favor the development of low pressure across the middle of the country. That is going to feed warm air advection northward from the Gulf of Mexico, cooler air wrapping in on the backside of that trough, setting up a pattern like this where the eastern half of the country likely transitioning back to a warmer than average pattern as we head into the March 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th time frame. So that kind of gives you a large look. We're dealing with this winter storm over the next 48 to 72 hours, a cold weekend, a quiet start to the next week, but likely transitioning to a very spring-like pattern, meaning a very active spring-like pattern across the central and eastern U.S. as we head into the March 3rd through the 10th time frame.